Welcome to Crocodile MTG, your home of competitive, constructed play in all Magic the Gathering formats. Today's video was brought to you by all our wonderful sponsors, affiliates, and patrons. Thank you all for supporting the Crocodile MTG channel, and we hope you enjoy today's video. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jordan with Crocodile MTG, here bringing you another Magic the Gathering video. Today we're taking a deep dive into Pioneer with blue-white flash. This is primarily a Spirits build, so I went ahead and called it blue-white Spirits, but we are more of a flash deck. I think we're going to go ahead and keep this hand. Selfless Spirit is really good right now in the format, and Rattle Chains also is very good. So we're going to go ahead and get this party started. So it looks like our opponent is playing a mono-red Prowess deck. So we're going to go ahead and start with this Hollowed Fountain tapped. We're going to minimize the amount of damage we're going to need to take. So hopefully they don't come out of the gates too aggressive. We don't have any of our 1-drops, and we don't have a Spell Queller, unfortunately. But hopefully being able to slam down a Rattle Chains next turn at instant speed, and then following up with a Supreme Phantom. Hopefully that helps us win this game. Brazen Borrower is a really good card, both in Petty Theft and the creature itself. Unfortunately, though, we do not have... Alright, I might actually end up blocking here the Eidolon with Rattle Chains if they attack. Brazen Borrow, unfortunately, like I was saying, is not a spirit, though, so it doesn't get the pump effects from Supreme Phantom. I'm going to attempt to get the block in here. If they have something, that's unfortunate, but I think it's more important here to try and get... And yeah, it looks like they have a Wild Slash or something. Alright, they have a Stomp here. So our opponent is going to be taking damage as well. Alright, so no possible plays. So our opponent's going to get in for 4 here. They're going to take 2 damage. We're going to take 2 damage. And we're going to fall down to 13, which is unfortunate. In our sideboard, though, we're going to get it to bring in things like Blessed Alliance and Surge of the Righteousness to kind of counteract the burn that we're facing. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just play out a Supreme Phantom. And force them to have something if they plan to interact with it. Again, this Eidolon's kind of crushing us here. If they attack, I'm going to go ahead and flash in Spectral Sailor. We're going to take another 2 damage, but we're going to attempt to block here. At least something. The other awkward part about this, though, is the fact that they have Soulscour Mage. And Mage, if they burn anything, will just decrease the power and toughness of the creature. So I'm actually going to double block the Supreme Phantom here. The reason for that is so they can't just... double block the Eidolon with Supreme Phantom. The reason for that is just so they can't... I guess if they kill my Supreme Phantom, it's going to be a 2-for-1 anyhow. Actually, a 2 for... Yeah, it's going to be a 2-for-1. All right, let's see how they choose to block here. We might have to rely on our sideboard games. This was actually a bad block. I should not have done that. I was going to say, now if they have Lightning Strike or something. Yep. It's just a straight 2-for-1. Now, if they did it anyhow, what I should have done was Supreme Phantom block the Soulscar Mage. Because now the Eidolon still didn't die, and we just wasted a block. I'm going to go ahead and play this Selfless Spirit here, leave up Brazen Borrower. Again, we're at 5 life. I don't think we have much more in this game, to be honest. We're going to have to go ahead and go to our sideboard games, and hopefully the Blessed Alliances can bring us back a little bit. This mono red deck's pretty aggressive, and it is kind of hard to deal with Eidolon without straight removal. That's where our sideboard plan comes in a little better. Again, we're going to bring in definitely the Blessed Alliance, definitely the Surge of Righteousness, and maybe a couple Dovin's Vetoes. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. We're just going to end up losing Selfless Spirit here. It wouldn't have even mattered because of Soulscar Mage, the way it interacts. Interesting. All right, we're only gonna get in this back in this game through one interaction, and it's definitely not like we're gonna fall to 1 here. I don't think there's gonna be anything we can do about this. All right, we drew a Spell Queller. That's, I guess, the first way of dealing with this battlefield. But again, if they have any burn spell, I mean, they're forcing us to interact here. Yeah, there's no way I can win this game. I'm going to go ahead and concede, because even if we put back Goblin Chain Whirler and block the Soulscar Mage, they can just replay the Chain Whirler and deal 1 damage to us. Alright, we're going to go ahead and bring in Righteous Charge. Maybe I bring in the Vetoes here. Alright, tap target creature and opponent controls. So I'm going to take out this 3-mana 2/1. I don't think it's very good with facing Chain Whirlers. I'm definitely going to bring in the Blessed Alliance and Righteous Surge. Surge of Righteousness. I'm debating the Detention Sphere and maybe 1 or 2 of these Vetoes. I feel like they're pretty good. But again, the problematic card that we were facing was not a instant or sorcery. It was Eidolon the Great Revel. So I probably Detention Sphere is pretty good, and maybe one of Settle the Wreckage. I think Selfless Spirit's a little weak in this portion because of cards like Soulscar Mage. Curious Obsession's not bad, especially if we get on the board early. Mausoleum Wanderer is pretty good if we are facing instants and sorceries. Brazen Borrower's okay, but I could see maybe trimming a Brazen Borrower, especially because it's again a 3-mana 3/1. While that's a good attacker, especially if we have Imperial Eagle, the just bounce effect on mono red creatures just isn't as good. But it is a removal spell. I'm kind of going back and forth on that here. So let's see here. Maybe I just trim a Spectral Sailor here. I'm going to go ahead and trim that Brazen Borrower. I could definitely see doing that. We're going to go ahead and go with this game plan of bringing in removal spells and life gain spells, and then hopefully we'll be able to take care of Eidolon. Alright, we are going to go ahead and play first. This is a keepable hand. This is actually a very good hand. We're going to go ahead and keep it. I'm going to go ahead and start with Port Town and play Revealing Hollowed Fountain. And we will pass the turn. Eidolon's really good, I think, in Pioneer, because a lot of people are doing the doing less than 3 CMC threats. If you're not playing control, and even if you're playing control with Eidolon or against Eidolon, we're gonna go ahead and reveal Hollowed Fountain here. I think we're just gonna pass the turn back and play Rattle Chains end of turn, and then hopefully untap and play Supreme Phantom. What I was saying, though, is Eidolon's pretty good in Pioneer right now because a lot of people are playing low-to-the-ground aggressive threats, especially with the Adventure mechanic. A lot of the cards that are being played from Adventure are cards like Brazen Borrower. Like we took one out here. Brazen Borrower. Sorry, I'm thinking through plays here, if we should have blocked there or not. I think we just Rattle Chains, untap, attempt a Supreme Phantom. Actually, maybe I just play Selfless Spirit next turn. Or leave up the option 2. So Rattle Chains, they'll have to kill it on end step if they want to. I think what our opponent's debating right now is whether or not to bolt us in the face with something like Lightning Helix, possibly. And if that is the case, then they'll get the Prowess trigger before damage. So again, it's how aggressive do you want to be? But anyhow, Eidolon's really good, really well positioned in the format because of cards like the Adventure mechanic that is basically playing 2 spells for 1 card, but they're both under 3 CMC when they're on the stack. So that triggers Eidolon and deals quite a bit of damage to the player casting those Adventure cards. But again, Mono Red Aggro is just one of those, if you stumble at all, they're going to run you over. And you saw game 1, we stumbled, and we got punished for it. So I would like a Blessed Alliance here to kind of prevent some of that, but all right, it looks like our opponent just lost connection for a minute, had to reset their game. So we'll see here if they might be debating a play, but it looks like they did lose connection and then came back in, so we'll see here. So our next plays are going to be Rattle Chains at the end of the turn. We're going to give them the option. We're going to untap and play Curious Obsession on Rattle Chains. And if they try to kill our Rattle Chains, then I'm going to, and it looks like they're not able to, I'm going to flash in Selfless Spirit. All right, no possible plays. So Steamkin could be a problem, but I don't think it's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and start drawing cards. I'm going to throw this Curious Obsession on the Rattle Chains and get in for some damage here. We would like the draw. Okay, Empyrean Eagle is very good here. So depending on what our opponent does next turn, we have the potential to flash in Selfless Spirit. Again, Rattle Chains, if you're unfamiliar with the card, gives all spirits you control flash. So both we can play Supreme Phantom or Selfless Spirit at instant speed. And if our opponent tries to kill Rattle Chains with anything, we're going to go ahead and flash in the Selfless Spirit here and prevent as much damage as we can with it. So our opponent's letting us just untap here, and we want to play the reactive game. So we're going to go ahead and just keep getting in with Rattle Chains here. We don't want to lose our Curious Obsession. And we'll see here if our opponent tries to react to the Rattle Chains. It is better to react on our turn. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and flash in Supreme Phantom here because they would boost Rattle Change's toughness to 3, and then Searing Blood doesn't do anything. And then if our opponent has another play here, I'm going to flash in Selfless Spirit and give everything indestructible. Alright, so that ended up not working out for our opponent here. We are going to draw a card. We drew an island, and we'll pass the turn. And next turn, we're going to be able to have Spellqueller up, and we also have Selfless Spirit up. So, depending on if our opponent tries to kill Rattle Chains this turn, I'm going to play Selfless Spirit. But if they do not have anything, then I'm just going to leave it up for next turn. Being able to play all our spirits at instant speed is a very powerful ability. All right, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to flash in the Selfless Spirit to save Rattle Chains. And we'll see if this works or not. And if this does work, we actually just get to leave our Supreme Phantom up and block because it will have Indestructible. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and sack it. Alright, our creatures got Indestructible, so that does not work for our opponent. And they don't have a Soul Scour Mage out, so we do not get -1/-1 counters instead of damage. That's something to be careful for if you're playing this deck. Definitely watch out for Soul Scour Mage because it gives -1/-1s and Indestructible doesn't matter at that point. I'm going to go ahead and block the Steamkin here. I think blocking 3 to potentially 4 damage is better than just blocking 2 potential 3 damage from Monastery Swift Spear. And now next turn... Alright, what's our opponent doing here? Stomping, and then they can follow up by playing the Giant here, Bone Crusher Giant, with the Runaway Steamkin. Okay, this is actually a pretty good play from our opponent. I don't think we have lethal next turn, 5, 6, 7. No, we do not. But I do have the ability to... Oh, wow, they didn't actually play anything there. So... Huh. I wonder why our opponent did that. So I'm going to go ahead here and attack for 4. And then I'm going to go ahead and leave up Spell Queller. I left back Supreme Phantom in case we need a blocker. Oh, our opponent didn't play the Bone Crusher Giant because then Steamkin would have died. I see. I see the line. Alright, now we have Spell Queller and Settle the Wreckage up. Both very powerful cards here. So depending on what our opponent has, they might start by playing the Bone Crusher Giant, which will regenerate a counter on Runaway Steamkin. And then if they have 2 other spells, yeah, it looks like this might be what they're doing here. Okay, there's a Soul Scour Mage, so now we have to be wary of that. Indestructible won't matter. I think I go ahead and let this resolve because our opponent does have the Bone Crusher Giant, but if they don't have any way of removing anything, like if they have a removal spell... Alright, I'm going to go ahead and steal the Chain Whirler here. And then I think I just play Empyrean Eagle next turn and I just win. And again, the Spell Queller is a 3/4, so yeah, our opponent's just out of plays here. They'll play the Bone Crusher Giant and attack for 4, which is fine. But they didn't have any way to boost the Swift Spear this turn, so they're not going to be able to deal lethal. And we have 8. We have 9 damage on board, so it's going to be a good game for our opponent. Yeah, we don't even have to play the Empyrean Eagle if we don't want to. Oh wait, no, it's 8 damage on board. Okay, play the Empyrean Eagle. Don't mess that up. All right, let's go ahead to our. We'll just take the 4 and go to our main phase. All right, we're flooding out quite a bit here, but we do have the Empyrean Eagle to end the game, so that's pretty fortunate for us. And really, that was the play draw that kind of. The play and draw there was definitely a significant factor in that game. Maybe Brazen Borrower will be better here. I think Spectral Sailor is a little weak in this deck. I think I might trim one of those. We're playing Brazen Borrower definitely as a removal spell. We just want to slow down our opponent just enough. And I think we're going to bring in the other Settle the Wreckage too. Simply because our opponent is going to be the aggressor in this match, and we want to be able to deal with their threats. So maybe I just play. I guess we do want the Spectral Sailors, so maybe I do just trim the Brazen Borrower again. I think like Spell Queller and Selfless Spirit. Maybe I'm probably going to trim Selfless Spirit there because they do have the Soul Scour Mage. And I don't want to get ruined by that by accident. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this. So we're playing a more reactive game. We want the Spectral Sailors here as an early drop. One, it's a spirit and gets pumped by things like Supreme Phantom, but we can also throw Curious Obsession on it if we need to. All right, this is game number 3. Ooh, this hand is rough. If we had another land, I'd debate keeping it, but we're going to have to mulligan this. We're on the draw at least, so maybe we're going to be able to find something. We're going to keep this, but it's pretty slow, which is concerning. We definitely need something off the top here to help our hand. We'll keep it. We're going to put this on the bottom. And this is not the reactive game we want to play. Mono Red's just so consistent here. It looks like they mulligan down the 6 as well. Maybe I should have gone down the 5 here. Let me know in the comments below if you think I should have went to 5. I do want to give a huge shout out and thank you to our sponsor as well, Mana Traders. Mana Traders is a great card rental service. Whether you play MTGO or Tabletop Magic, Mana Traders is a rental service where you can rent cards for major tournaments, or if you play online and grind a lot and want to play a variety of decks, it's a great resource to use. We have a promo code. It's Crocodile, just straight Crocodile, lowercase, uppercase, whatever you need, and you can save 15% off your first 3 months actually, if you want to give their trial. Give them a try. Alright, they played Eidolon here, so I'm a little concerned, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and play Supreme Phantom here. They don't have a Soul Scour Mage, so I'm hopeful that maybe we can get this Imperial Eagle on board next turn and then have a decent team. Maybe next turn I should just play the Curious Obsession since our hand's a little weak, and then leave back Mutavault. Play Mutavault as the land. We'll see here, though. I really just don't want them to have like a Stomp or something, so I don't think I can block here. I don't want them to have a Stomp or a Lightning Strike. Wow, they have a Mizia Mortars. That's something I did not expect to see. Alright, there's a Spell Queller at least. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Mutavault here. And I think I just passed the turn. and leave up the ability to Mutavault in response. I think I have to Spell Queller something here. I don't know. Maybe it is just this. It doesn't feel great, though. If they have another Mizium Mortars, or if they have another removal spell, which I assume they probably do, Spell Quelling here is not the best play. But if they don't have anything else, we might run away with a Spell Queller because we have Curious Obsession and we can put Imperial Eagle on it. Alright, this is actually a mistake from our opponent. So our opponent's reacting to the Spell Queller by lightning striking it. So because they're doing that, I believe Monastery Swiftspear is actually going to get exiled permanently here. So a misplay on our opponent's part because, see, the dying trigger happens there. So now Monastery Swiftspear is just exiled permanently. Alright, so we do have Imperial Eagle here. And maybe that helps us get back in this game, but I don't know. It's not looking good for us here. We're at 7. Our opponent only has 1 card in hand, though. And as long as it's not a removal spell, I think we might be in okay shape. These mono red decks definitely are very playable in this format. Yeah, they have Mizium Mortars. And I think with this Eidolon, I don't think we can play anything else. And next turn, they'll just, even if we block with Mutavault, I don't think we can play anything. We need to draw Settle the Wreckage. I think that's our only out here. But then if they just topple anything, yeah, we just draw a land here. Yeah, we have absolutely nothing here we can play. Settle the Wreckage, I think, was our only out. And that was if our opponent just was hitting lands over and over again. Alright, and our opponent's actually just going to play Goblin Chain Whirler here and just show us that they had it no matter what we did. So, great game, opponent. Yeah, so Spirits did lose to Mono Red. That matchup is a little closer than I thought it would be. I do wish that we drew some of our 1-mana spells, like our Spectral Sailors or our Mausoleum Wanderers. I think that could have improved the matchup a little bit. But yeah, with Goblin Chain Whirler in this deck, also playing Soulscour Mage, this matchup is a little more difficult. So I might consider that when looking at sideboard cards. I do think our sideboarding was pretty correct. I think on the draw, you do... I'm sorry, when you're not the aggressor. I think on the play, you want to be the aggressor. Get something down early. Play a Curious Obsession if you have it. And then play more of a tempo-y game where you can react to what your opponent's doing, especially with Selfless Spirit and Spell Queller. But I think on the draw, it's definitely a harder matchup with them being the aggressor. Mizium Mortars was definitely a surprise to me. I was not expecting that from our opponent, but I can see why. We do have the pump effects, and if we were able to get them down on the battlefield, we would have just had a bunch of brick-walled blockers. Like, imagine if they didn't have Mizium Mortars and we were able to just go Supreme Phantom into Eagle. We would end up having 2 3/4s and then a 3/5, and that would just brick wall our threats. So that's something that I didn't consider, but definitely our opponent did. Mizium Mortars did seem good in that matchup, but again with Soulscour Mage just kind of ruins a lot of the benefits like Selfless Spirit in this deck. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you Mana Traders for sponsoring this video, and check out our Patreon and our awesome affiliates, TCGPlayer.com and Inked Gaming. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Also, Check out the description below for more Magic the Gathering content. This was Jordan with Crocodile MTG, and we will see you next time.